Moodtrix on Adjacency. So literally last year, which was the best year of my life, the top 3 years literally that I kept complaining, to the current police at the time over when I was doing my second phase at Alpha Omega, was the beginning of 2023 where I saw Cocaine Bear with my best friend Courtney. Now, Courtney's a dark-skinned black man, literally one of the high-tier black men when it comes to the whole pendulum, when it comes to black people as a whole in America. This video is breaking down each and every aspect of 2023 from female all the way to Prada Nada. You see, 2023 was a challenging 28. And the thing that I do the minute I get to Alpha Omega is upload this show on TV called Lego Models. So Lego Models is a superficial show that, not just anyone can do, because I was very practical where it came to that show, where it came to my thought process because of, my past history, where it came to getting girls in freshman year. Actually getting girls in freshman year. And, literally how you can depict it from others is, very interesting and intriguing. And what ends up happening is I take one of the girls who's already, the X-Men with my family, with my son Xavier, Vanessa, in order, to create Lego Models. I had to fuse the aspect that I already had something big with something else that was even bigger, that was already, grained a long time ago, written in stone, which was my relationship with Jennifer Lopez. When I came through like Darth Vader literally and ruled the whole school of Washington while I wasn't even there. So my thought process at the time was I could have a kid with Jennifer or could not. So I decided to combine both on a reality show, and what ended up happening is I started appealing to Latin entertainment. Knowing how to face off is the perfect Vegeta. Not just that, I know how to make paste and monument where it comes to editing my videos, and that was the perfect, the perfect decision at the time, along, with my hit single, that I was planning around the same time, My Little Pony. Unfortunately, literally at Alpha Omega, the group home didn't matter, because one of my greatest feats, in life, literally was at the group home. But what did matter is how it was being, treated and how information was being, transmitted. And what ended up happening was this. I kept the momentum of, the year before, which was 2022. So whenever, I went outside, it was on hit. I'm all like, Fortress, kind of confirmed, but not that really confirmed yet. Literally Jennifer, kid named Zach, okay, let's play Big 182 first date. And that was the momentum, and that's how much control I had over it, and over the situation as a whole. So when it came to things like, Marisol, really getting central, which central is the basis of this video. What this video is basically based on is adjacency and how adjacency is transmitted to the human brain. So what I was telling them, when they kept on restricting me from uploading, as you can see, you can even tell by the due dates on my channel that, last year didn't have as nearly as frequent as uploads as the year before, which was 2022. That it's not as successful, but I was able to reveal a full successful formula. So, literally overall, my 2023, ended as a debate, with the show called Twin Love, I believe. So in other words, literally in the beginning of 2023, it was still Platinum Boy friendly. So here's what happened. Okay, so to start off, before I left the other house, which was at Batiste, I used specifically a Tekaichi video which referenced Frieza's second form. And the problem with second form Frieza was it definitely was, a big, indication of the result of what happened. But at the end of the day, I was able to use the two brothers, Primo and, Uncle Tommy really effectively. So what I did literally was there were two, parts of Alpha Omega, which is the beginning where I aired, Lego Models. I was already connected, to the TV, so what I did was I moved it with the rock. I did see it on my phone in the same bed. How I know I saw it in bed with the same cellular device. It was kind of like a flip phone. The pastor also, had flip when he just started, the preacher was watching porn. But mine was actually real because the one on TV has a nose ring, and I chose that specifically. Now, the one on TV goes hand in hand with the one that was in the studio before, because what it is it's definitely a restriction because that's more composure, and I am a supersonic, character where it comes to their crew members at Funimation. What's that name, LA? And what I wore on TV was a dad hat, specifically, a dad hat, like a navy blue, snap forward hat. And I specifically subscribed on the Lego Instagram, the same day, where I airfit, so they definitely, met me halfway. Now, when things come into play was literally, the next house, in Alpha Omega, literally, which was on Almanza, versus the one that was on 82nd. So let me tell you why Alpha Omega is the fucking shit, because what ends up happening is I meet, a girl that's elderly named Denise. And instantly I wanted Denise to be my mother in West Side Story, aka Freddie Gibson. So what I did was I had, research that that we're still kind of primitive, not in technology, but as a species, and that we're not trusting other people, with technology, properly, because there are fucking, contact lenses that work like, Apple devices that literally send you links to, to a whole other, internet dimensions, literally, if fucking you look at it, it's like a Scouter of Dragon Z, how you have somebody's height and shit, literally, and you get access internet browsers, literally, it's literally like an iPhone but in the lenses. There were things like that out there, but when it comes to evolution, how people can access, we still don't have, flying skateboards. So, what I did was, literally, since you didn't apply evolution, literally, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take advantage that humans can adjacently absorb. So what gave me cause and effect in the hood was, I download, exclusive anime wallpapers, knowing that I was a voice actor goodbye, knowing I'm the voice actor Nokia, knowing I'm the voice actor of many characters and nons. And I download, a wallpaper of character, from, One Piece, fused with a Chimera Ant, one of the Chimera Ants from Hunter x Hunter. And I instantly get purple. I start hanging out with Catherine every day, dancing, listening to music, with Deborah and Cindy. Then literally I go home, look at a picture of Gohan dying. I'm watching A&B's with Davina. It was some tough shit. So basically what I said is, if you're gonna, abuse evolution, like, every TV instantly coming with YouTube, things like Naruto, being, free, and so guess what I, called out during this whole process, I called out that literally Naruto being for free, specifically the first one, not the second one, and I knew the second one, the shipping did not have for debate. Well, my almighty saying goes, I grew up with Naruto, I grew up with the characters in Naruto, I got to see Naruto progress as I progressed, with contradictory statements, from, animation rap leads that I never, progressed. And when I played off, things like my Hidan battle versus my Jalal battle, how, the flow was actually way more, intense and way more, considerate where it came to the criticism, how it was fast, and just slow down by default, but how, they got to an even more critical system that I did, have an inspirational flow that was overwhelming, like Travis. I complain, it's like the 1,000th times I say, yo, do something in 10 hours, literally, that means you're actually interested, that you take it seriously, fucker. Is that you making Naruto on YouTube for free was a 1-year decision. And so what they did, I want to state before, I got before this video, they made me smoke out for aluminum foil, on pipe. So before I go into depth of this video, what I kept on stressing to them was, yo, literally, you can't say the first 3 months was a fire. They even, fucking tortured me while I made Holla at Me, literally, when I was still 27. I knew it was 28, they're about to do a spring, so like, literally, here we go. Now it's here to come to the basis of this video. What I did was I used second form Frieza from Uncle Tommy and Sunny, how they used to fight, because you know how Uncle Sunny can bop and weave. I mean, Uncle Tommy, you know how Uncle Tommy's, Wrigley when he fights, Uncle Sunny throws it straight. Literally, what I did was I used, second form Frieza, doing the finger, as the indicator, and I fell back on Jennifer Lopez, literally in freshman year and everything. And what I did was I broke down Adjacency as a whole. So what I did was I realized that it was cripping that you could still absorb, and it got to a point now where there's blood. And so what ends up happening is, I end up, literally counting this as a whole. So what ends up happening as soon as I go to the next location that looks like a cabin, is I recognize that literally it's still freshman year, in terms of in the air. So what I do was, I get my PlayStation, and what ends up happening is I project again, but what I do is I have a way better projection on the same level of Moodtrix. Now what I'm going to go get into is that literally it was still it was still kind of warmy, cozy inside. And what ends up happening is I walk down the street with my girl Carla, who I literally had a walk with, but she told me where she lived freshman year. And what ends up happening is I'm able to walk with her, with double checking. I'm wearing a green jacket, walk with both Davina and Catherine. I recognize that Sandra is there, and what I did was I recognized the impact of why freshman year could last forever, but why it did, and I'm already have knowledge of a gang or why a gang is upbeat. So I made this fucking funny ass fucking comparison in order to destroy the curly hair, which is genius. I have to get a gang. I have to literally try the best to make him think that this shit never happened. I was thinking about Eris, literally everything in the world and everything is done. You know how Eris beat Armand, over and over and over again. I'm like, that is the most genius shit of all time. Literally, I've never seen something go over somebody's head like that before. So it gets crazy. So what ends up going there is rematch, green, natural, to the field, So instantly, me and Sandra and everybody else who's there end up watching Freebie. And what ends up happening is we enjoy our first 3 months literally at the new location at Alpha Omega, because I was there literally from January all the way to March. And all of a sudden, April, I do your girl flip the script, but every single piece of April, every single day, at Alpha Omega, all the way to a point where I made All I Know. The hip hop was being reciprocated as me being the LeBron James of anime. So it was still there, still Vanessa, still strong. What I was doing was I was comparing, Sunny, security guard, you know how I had the straight build, to what kind of job I can get in the beginning. What ends up happening is I keep on, partying with Catherine, I keep on recognizing the game for what it is, and then we end up at their group home, literally watching From Prada to Nada. Let me know that me and Uncle Sonny are now on the same level. That's where it got really interesting, because it's still there. The Frieza pointing his fingers. You're still, contemplating, Uncle Tommy versus Uncle Sonny, how they fight. Literally, Wrigley, throwing rocks and hooks, to a straight. Also, I went over the cause and effect of what happens when, one of them gets filed for, something really, really bad sexual, the grandma stuff, their mom. Marianne beats them, all the way to a point, when they're making fun of each other. Oh, what I try to do it to Mama, literally, I did resort to do this, and that, and then fucking Sonny calling Tommy off work. Literally, this is the last time you bugged me, man. So the memorial dance, though, is gonna be for Uncle Sonny. The midnight dance has a lot to do with my MVP, because what it is I did do the research of, about older generation when it comes to mystic and rap, where it comes to why you have to slightly defer and go around the subject. And what ends up happening is I know, people like Mercedes, my girl Simona, and look, all those girls were going to be in order, and what was going to happen was, I was going to line them up, one by one. So the research lets you know that Blink-182 doesn't exist, and what ends up happening in my brother's timeline is they never, reached the goal of, being popular on TV. It's always you go hard in junior high, you do your dance move, you end up on a point, literally, and then you go to jail for sexual harassment over and over and over again, to a point where nobody can fully socialize, to a point where we knew socializing came from gangs. In order for socializing to continue with progression, literally, you have to literally get somebody like Isaiah who smokes cigarettes literally on the sludge of the freeway while he listens to exclusive bands that make their own music, literally, and that my shit, the MVP I had with Katie and shit, is the definition of why the 2000s generation ended, because literally when it comes to socializing, nobody actually got their character to be expressed for a long period of time because of betrayal. Me and my generation, right in the middle of the Flow Rider and Lil Jon generation, the reason why we got Wearing Fit was because we recognized everything died out because it was illegal to listen to gangs like Sum 41. And here me, Simona and Sabate, hey, all these bitches and all these people are listening to literally Sum 41 at Safeway, and they're all like, man, this is totally fucking worth it. What I was going to do is literally when I went down, I'm going to show you why I am of my age, or why I do know what I do to this current generation, and why Blink-182 was going to eventually end. So what ends up happening is they start fucking with my 28, literally where it comes along, let me know nothing's gonna, go my way. So what I do is literally, I go through the blood phase, literally I fucking, I cheat, at Alpha Omega with, watching Netflix shows like, Outer Banks, doing high, up and down blood activities, and it doesn't work because they make sure a situation is always in the way. And what ended up happening was not only did the paparazzi fuck up, my 28, they kept on making me double imply. You know how Eris recognized how he's kind of good in the beginning, you know, where Arena asked me a good question. They aligned with her, Arena, and they attacked her. As soon as they saw me dancing with the girls down the street, it fucked them up because they saw the sensual feelings. So you don't know what sensual is. Sensual is porn, you know, sensual Jane. And what ends up, you know, really happening, you know, is I could make it the best year of my life, you know, if you don't, you know, fuck with the smoke screen. And then make sure I actually double implied with that amendment with the actual Board of Education of the school system every time I got done dancing to the point where I could absorb everything. So what I did was I locked them in the beginning, like, oh, I did this with Daniela, oh, I did this, you know, over time, you know, James and Max, you know, and I started locking them 24/7, and it eventually got down to a point where literally it was a phase, 4 grown niggas watching Naruto. When you're in a situation like famine, where 3 days could be the best years of your life, the cops say it's pretty bullshit. Literally, it was a year where I got to do everything I wanted. It still turned out to be the worst year of my life. But then literally, you get to hear Auntie Lisa, ah ha ha, the shit you were doing was so petty it wasn't even funny. And that's why literally the course of the Vario is every action has a reaction. And you definitely, you know, established literally if you would have left me alone, literally nothing literally would have been that way. But it was the best year in terms of locking, in terms of, you know, everything else. What they did was they made me backtrack literally to King Ace a whole lot. They had me compare King Ace to a car, so I was all like, man, you know, it ended while I'm back in Courtney. So it ended literally with literally me saying, I think it's the, you know, I'm back with Courtney, because what I did was I showed Courtney the music that I could, you know, get away with, you know, literally when I was in high school, and how they had, you know, Tupperware gang, you know, with heavy metal, and you know, Courtney was feeling that shit, and he literally felt for that shit the whole time. And so I'm like, yo, it ended that way. He's like, no, it dragged out. So what they did was they dragged on to make sure it was fucking, you know, out of there. Now Marissa Palmer is, you know, irrelevant for this video, but the whole, you know, point and grand theme, I had to show you the first 3 months. And then where it came to character rap profiles, literally, you know, Carmina was introduced, you know, Rainer was introduced. It was Eris's, you know, adjacent journey as a whole, you know, and what the Frieza did and what you didn't recognize, that Frieza taught you what literally adjacent was. You see when he points that finger and I check in the house every single time, literally what that did was that showed you literally adjacent literally is a square that, you know, stays in the same column, which is the whole point of this video. And the whole reason why, you know, Cremo, you know, in Uncle Tommy get into it so much is the fact that literally freaking Uncle Tommy's school Sunny on adjacent shit. The definition of adjacent is everything is at once, and you can't, you know, fool me, because before I got to group home, I know what linear is because James is linear. And I know our gang connects linear to our problem. So with the Frieza porting, the reason why I recognize why you can't gaslight me and why you can't gaslight me my freshman year is because 4 is how you naturally absorb, because 4 is adjacent, and because literally if you go, you know, past adjacency, that means you're not being natural, and literally, and that's the exact reason why I won with Cremo. So what I tried to say at American, literally, where there are martial art positions and I was adjacent, was literally when you use martial arts, you go outside of adjacency, and that's why I won, because I had more outfits than you could absorb, you know, wearing purple with white sleeves, etc. Now you can, you know, go past, you know, adjacency by doing a whole bunch of activity where you view literally a cartoon on the outside instead of, you know, absorbing, which is what Blood taught me. So what I said is they did martial art shit and they pointed something out, but it wasn't adjacent as a whole. And probably what I did in studios made a requirement for my family to get adjacent victories so you wouldn't fuck me over. That's all, Paige, that's Ganny. This is Eris in the mainstream media, and I'm out.